Greetings, this is Doc Ock coming at you live and direct from Black Facts Headquarters Central. Coming at you live and direct, coming at you big and strong, coming at you right, not wrong, coming at you long, not gone. But we soon will be gone when it comes to the life of Marcus Mosiah Garvey, for we have reached the last day of our month-long celebration in this year 2021 as we remember the Right Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey and the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League. That's right. We remember all of that. We remember his speech at the Madison Square Garden where he held sway over 25,000 people, not for 10 minutes, not for 1 hour, not for one night, but for the entire month of August in the year 1920 and again in the year 1921. We're talking about someone who had power. When you heard his voice, you had to drop what you were doing and stop and listen and let the words wash over you, because they were uplifting. They would uplift you right up out of your seat. Marcus Mosiah Garvey. So in order to go ahead and finish this off, you know we've got to do right before we take flight. So number one, if you're watching on Facebook, give us a like. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. If you're, however you're watching this, on whatever platform you may be on, when the day is done and our song is gone, please make sure to spread the word far and wide all over the land. Let everybody know what they need to be doing at 12 o'clock and 9 o'clock, because we are Doc Ock at noon and 9, doing our thing and trying to do it real fine. So let's move on with a saying today, not of mine, but of his. And let's just see what he had to say today. I had so many I could pick from. I had more than enough, and I'm having a hard time deciding which one I want to read. This is the one I want to read here. I think this is the one I want to read. I haven't read this whole piece, but I'm reading. You know, he had a way of this is written down in a way it's very similar to the way Dr. Ben wrote, using a lot of capital letters. Let us prepare today for the tomorrows in the lives of the nations will be so eventful. For the tomorrows in the lives of the nations will be so eventful that Negroes everywhere will be called upon to play their part in the survival of the fittest human group. Let us prepare today, for the tomorrows in the lives of the nations will be so eventful that Negroes everywhere will be called upon to play their part in the survival of the fittest human group. Well, that's an interesting way to use survival of the fittest. Okay, you can see Garvey was above all, if nothing else, he could be a very religious man, but at the same time, he could also be very scientific. Okay, you know what? I think this would be appropriate for our last day, although it might take me 2 days to finish it. I might have to go an extra day tomorrow, but we'll see how far we get. And this one is called The Aims and Objectives of Movement for Solution of the Negro Problem. Now, what did W.B. Du Bois say was going to be the issue of the 20th century? He said the issue of the 20th century, the problem of the 20th century, would be the color line. And so that's basically the problem that Garvey is talking about coming up with a solution for. So let's see what was Garvey's solution in terms of the aims and objects of movement for a solution of Negro problem. Generally, the public is kept misinformed of the truth surrounding new movements of reform. Very seldom, if ever, reformers get the truth told about them and their movements. Because of this natural attitude, the Universal Negro Improvement Association has been greatly handicapped in its work, causing thereby one of the most liberal and helpful human movements of the 20th century to be held up to ridicule by those who take pride in poking fun at anything not already successfully established. The white man of America has become the natural leader of the world. He, because of his exalted position, is called upon to help in all human efforts. From nations to individuals, the appeal is made to him for aid in all things affecting humanity. So naturally, there can be no great mass movement or change without first acquainting the leader on whose sympathy and advice the world moves. It is because of this, and more so because of a desire to be Christian friends with the white race, why I explain the aims and objects of the Universal Negro Improvement Association. The Universal Negro Improvement Association is an organization among Negroes that is seeking to improve the condition of the race, with the view of establishing a nation in Africa where Negroes will be given the opportunity to develop by themselves, without creating the hatred and animosity that now exists in countries of the white race, through Negroes rivaling them for the highest and best positions in government, politics, society, and industry. The organization believes in the rights of all men, yellow, white, and black. To us, the white race has the right to the peaceful possession and occupation of countries of its own, and in like manner, the yellow and black races have their rights. It is only by an honest and liberal consideration of such rights can the world be blessed with the peace that is sought by Christian teachers and leaders. The spiritual brotherhood of man. The following preamble to the Constitution of the organization speaks for itself. The Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League is a social, friendly, humanitarian, charitable, educational, institutional, constructive, and expansive society, founded by persons desiring to the utmost to work for the general uplift of the Negro peoples of the world. And the members pledge themselves to do all in their power to conserve the rights of their noble race and to respect the rights of all mankind, believing always in the brotherhood of man and the fatherhood of God. The motto of the organization is one God, one aim, one destiny. Therefore, let justice be done to all mankind, realizing that if the strong oppresses the weak, confusion and discontent will ever mark the path of man. But with love, faith, and charity toward all, the reign of peace and plenty will be heralded into the world, and a generation of men shall be called blessed. The declared objects of the association are to establish a universal confraternity among the race, to promote the spirit of pride and love, to reclaim the fallen, to administer to and assist the needy, to assist in civilizing the backward tribes of Africa, to assist in the development of independent Negro nations and communities, to establish a central nation for the race, to establish commissaries or agencies in the principal countries and cities of the world for the representation of all Negroes, to promote a conscientious spiritual worship among the native tribes of Africa, to establish universities, colleges, academies, and schools for the racial education and culture of the people to work for better conditions among Negroes everywhere. Supplying a long-felt want. The organization of the Universal Negro Improvement Association has supplied among Negroes a long-felt want. Hitherto, the other Negro movements in America, with the exception of the Tuskegee effort of Booker T. Washington, sought to teach the Negro to aspire to social equality with the whites, meaning thereby the right to intermarry and fraternize in every social way. This has been the source of much trouble, and still some Negro organizations continue to preach this dangerous, race-destroying doctrine. Added to a program of political agitation and aggression, the Universal Negro Improvement Association, on the other hand, believes in and teaches the pride and purity of race. We believe that the white race should uphold its racial pride and perpetuate itself, and that the black race should do likewise. We believe that there is room enough in the world for the various race groups to grow and develop by themselves without seeking to destroy the Creator's plan by the constant introduction of mongrel types. The unfortunate condition of slavery as imposed upon the Negro, and which caused the mongrelization of the race, should not be legalized and continued now to the harm and detriment of both races. The time has really come to give a Negro a chance to develop himself to a moral standard mind. And it is for such an opportunity that the Universal Negro Improvement Association seeks in the creation of an African nation for Negroes, where the greatest latitude would be given to work out this racial ideal. There are hundreds of thousands of colored people in America who desire race amalgamation and miscegenation as a solution to the race problem. These people are therefore opposed to the race pride ideas of black and white. But the thoughtful of both races will naturally ignore the ravings of such persons and honestly work for the solution of a problem that has been forced upon us. Liberal white America and race-loving Negroes are bound to think at this time and thus evolve a program or plan by which there can be a fair and amicable settlement of the question. We cannot put off the consideration of the matter, for time is pressing on our hands. The educated Negro is making rightful constitutional demands. The great white majority will never grant them, and thus we must march on to danger if we do not now stop and adjust the matter. The time is opportune to regulate the relationship between both races. Let the Negro have a country of his own. Help him to return to his original home, Africa, and there give him the opportunity to climb from the lowest to the highest positions in a state of his own. If not, then the nation will have to hearken to the demand of the aggressive social equality organization known as the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, of which W.B. Du Bois is leader, which declares vehemently for social and political equality vis-a-vis Negroes and whites in the same hotels, homes, residential districts, public and private places, a Negro as president, members of the cabinet, governors of states, mayors of cities, and leaders of society in the United States. In this agitation, Du Bois is ably supported by the Chicago Defender, a colored newspaper published in Chicago. This paper advocates Negroes in the cabinet and Senate. All these, as everybody knows, are the Negroes' constitutional rights. But reason dictates that the masses of the white race will never, listen to me carefully, will never stand by the ascendancy of an opposite minority group to the favored positions in a government, society, and industry that exist by the will of the majority. Hence, The demand of the Du Bois group of colored leaders will only lead, ultimately, to further disturbances in riots, lynching, mob rule, and outright insurrection. The only logical solution, therefore, is to supply the Negro with opportunities and environments of his own, and therefore point him to the fullness of his own ambition. The Negroes who seek social equality. The Negro who seeks the White House in America could find ample play for his ambition in Africa. The Negro who seeks the office of Secretary of State in America would have a fair chance of demonstrating his diplomacy in Africa. The Negro who seeks a seat in the Senate or of being governor of a state in America would be provided with a glorious chance for statesmanship in Africa. The Negro has a claim on American white sympathy that cannot be denied. The Negro has labored for 300 years in contributing to America's greatness. White America will not be unmindful, therefore, of this consideration, but will treat him kindly. Yet it is realized that all human beings have a limit to their humanity. The humanity of white America, we realize, will seek self-protection and self-preservation. And that is why the thoughtful and reasonable Negro sees no hope in America for satisfying the aggressive program of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, but advances the reasonable plan of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, that of creating in Africa a nation and government for the Negro race, by the Negro race, of the Negro race. This plan, when properly undertaken and prosecuted, will solve the race problem in America in 50 years. Mark my words. Africa affords a wonderful opportunity at the present time for colonization by the Negroes of the Western world. There is Liberia, already established as an independent Negro government. Let white America assist Afro-Americans to go there and help develop the country. Then there are the late German colonies. Let white sentiment force England and France to turn them over to the American and West Indian Negroes who fought for the Allies in the World's War. Then France, England, and Belgium owe America billions of dollars which they claim they cannot afford to repay immediately. Let them compromise by turning over Sierra Leone and Cote d'Ivoire on the west coast of Africa and add them to Liberia and help make Liberia a state worthy of her history. The Negroes of Africa and America are one in blood. They have sprung from the same common stock. They can work and live together and thus make their own racial contribution to the world. Will deep thinking and liberal white America help? It is a considerate duty. It is true that a large number of self-seeking colored agitators and so-called political leaders who hanker after social equality and fight for the impossible in politics and governments will rave. But remember that the slaveholder raved, but the North said, let the slaves go free. The British Parliament raved when the colonists said, we want a free and American nation. The monarchists of France raved when the people declared for a more liberal form of government. The masses of Negroes think differently from the self-appointed leaders of the race. The majority of Negro leaders are selfish, self-appointed, and not elected by the people. The people desire freedom in a land of their own, while the colored politician desires office and social equality for himself in America. And that is why we are asking white America to help the masses to realize this objective. 90-odd years ago, a thoughtful, liberty-loving white statesman of America made the following speech in Congress, which I will not be able to read today because our time has already ended. But I may have mercy on your soul and read that one tomorrow because it's called Claims of Africa. And it's a short piece. It only goes on for about a page and a half, I think. Well, okay, 2 pages. It's 2 pages long. But I could start and finish that one on tomorrow, and we could tie up this whole Garvey business. Instead of on the 31st of August, we could tie it up on the 1st of September so that you could remember from May to November what we said on what Garvey said, not we said, what Garvey said on the 1st of September. Because you do need to remember, his words of wisdom still ring true. If you heard what he said about insurrection and rioting and these different kinds of social upheavals, we see that happening all around us. And we know it's not about states' rights. It's still the same war we've been fighting since 18 whatever, and even before that, a war over slavery. Would we suffer slavery silently? Or would we rise up and demand that we get the rights that we were supposedly guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution? That is the question. And if not, then maybe it is time for some separation since we're not doing so well under the Constitution. Well, food for thought. Think about that. We'll be black tomorrow, but matter of fact, we'll even be black before that, because we'll be black tonight to talk about Blake, to read from Blake, or the Huts of America. And I believe we should be tying this one up tonight too, although we won't get to the end of it. We'll give you just a peek into the mind of Martin R. Delaney. And in a future month, we'll do a whole month just on Martin R. Delaney. And who was Martin R. Delaney? Because I'm sure many of you out there know much less about Martin R. Delaney than you know about Marcus Garvey. And even Martin Luther King. We're not leaving him out. We will be doing an entire month on Martin Luther King. Maybe we'll do that this January. We'll see how things work out. But we'll get around to Martin Luther King as well. We just know there's more to life. There's more to our history. There's more to being black than MLK Jr. Okay? There's more to it than that. So we have to, we're trying to make the rounds, and what's the word for it? We're trying to flesh out this history of black people. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to flesh it out so that you can really get a better idea of the totality of black history. That we have people saying one thing and people saying another thing simultaneously. You heard Garvey in this one here use the word Negro, Afro-American, and African simultaneously within the very same speech, and colored people. He used all four. In that one speech we just read, he used all four descriptors that are still being used today for black people. But it's up to us to decide which one we want to use. Matter of fact, the only one he didn't use is black. He used Negro, which means black, but technically he did not come straight out and say black. So something else to think about. But in the meanwhile, look for us tonight at 9. This is Doc Ock at noon and 9 signing out. Without a doubt, please don't forget to do the needful before I have to go and get pleadful. Number 1, give us a like if you're watching on Facebook. Number 2, give us a thumbs up if you're watching on the tube. Third, but not last, on our list of on our short to-do list for you is go ahead and make a donation. You can do it at our website, www.blakfacts.org. That's where you can find me and be able to donate freely. You can do it on our Facebook, in our Facebook group, the Center of Pan-African Culture. Just look right below the description and you'll find a link. If you can't find the link and you're on YouTube, you can't find the website, go right into the description. There's a link there. that'll take you right to the website, and you can donate in there. So you've got many ways to donate. Please donate freely, because we need your support so we can keep bringing you these independent tomes, these independent words, unfettered by considerations of advertisers, advertisements, advertising dollars, etc., etc., etc. We're talking about total freedom here. If you want to be free, free your mind, and your behind will follow. Peace out, without a doubt, with justice, because anything less disgusts us.